Welcome to another hour of the Art Lewis Show, hour number 2, as we broadcast today from Johnson's Pumpkin Farm, where a river of time has come to town. River of Time, of course, are the reenactors that are living history through various periods in our history. And you never know who you're going to find at the River of Time. And I have a very, very special guest with me this morning. He doesn't have his glasses on, so I don't know how well he can see right now. But the one and only Ben Franklin is sitting next to me this morning. And Ben, first of all, good morning, and then I'll explain what all of this stuff is that you've never seen before.
It is amazing. If it has anything to do with electricity.
Ah, yes.
I have had a major visit with some of that form of power, and it didn't agree with me, and but it
gave new meaning to go fly a kite. Didn't it?
Absolutely, that's what it was. And
so Mr. Franklin, as we look at history, and you have the privilege of not only living in the time frame that you lived, but coming back and seeing it today, could you have envisioned this world back in your world?
Not all of it. There is some things that I would have anticipated. Now knowing what the electricity was capable of doing, and you just had to get creative with it. You just had to try in different things. And when we had our Leyden jars, which we got from a gentleman over in Europe, and he was able to capture that electrical current, and which is a word that I put to the electrical charge, and so if they had understood back then that you could take that charge, you could take that electricity and store it, and able to do all kinds of things with it. You just had to be creative. So the terms that I threw out at him, the other scientist actually, were things like current, positive, negative. The word "ouch" doesn't come to mind, but that should have been used a few times.
Yeah, it has been.
Oh. There was one time when we decided that we were going to try a little experiment, and that's where you learn. You just put things together and just see what happens. I was very curious. It was around the Thanksgiving holiday, and I decided I was going to see if electricity could cook a turkey. And we had ourselves a whole bank of these Leyden jars, which nowadays they would be classified as a battery for maybe a car, a vehicle of some sort. And we put a few of them together and plugged them right into a turkey. And unfortunately, it didn't work. And I was wearing turkey all over my whole body.
Oh.
And part of that charge actually
blew up
back
turkey,
to me. Oh, absolutely. I don't think I would have really tried a bite of that.
No.
I don't think it was ready to go.
Well, we could say, in some ways, because of the discovery of electricity and the uses of it, coupled with the advent of steam, you could be called the father of the Industrial Revolution in some ways.
That has come to mind. Like I say, you just have to be creative. What is it like when... Okay, you have a pot of water and you're boiling it, and then you put your hand over it, and it obviously will hurt. But then there's all kinds of things that you can put over it that would change the item. For a piece of wood, say, for example, and it would warp it, and so hot air, steam, would change the wood. But it has a flowing power to it.
Well, we take that for granted today.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody really understands what it is they have. And it's fun, to be honest with you. When I was a young lad, we did that same thing. we played with different things, and just to see what would happen.
Well, here at the River of Time, it is living history. You'll find folks like Ben Franklin. So I have to ask, in this modern world, what got you into the Ben Franklin mode?
Well, that is a very interesting story. I will try my best to keep it to a minimum, but
All right.
it was approximately 18 years ago. A very good friend of mine just asked if he could come out and be part of what I do. And he would get his dressed, and he would come out, and he was always advertising to myself and others that he was now my slave. That's the whole reason he was able to come inside the tent, the sutlery that we have. And then he kept on telling me, he says, "Bob, you look like Ben Franklin. Every part of it, everything. You've got the hat, you've got the glasses, you've got your walking stick, the clothes that you have on, everything. You're Ben Franklin." And I kept on denying him, because I know for a fact that there are people out there that have read other books that I haven't to learn about Ben Franklin. And he says, "Well, it's not the knowing, it's actually the looking. You look like Ben Franklin."
Well, that's half the battle.
So we spent a little time, about a year of that, back and forth. So finally he made me an offer, and he said, "I will go out and spend monies at a dinner. We'll go out afterwards as we normally do, and I will bet you dinner that if you go out in public at this event that we were currently at, I bet you dinner that somebody will come up to you and ask if you're Ben Franklin, or knowing that you are, and they would say, 'Hello, Mr. Franklin,' and things." And I says, no. And he says, "Okay, this is what we're going to do. You're going to do that 5 minutes. Somebody's going to come up." Oh, and I thought it would be the end of it. Just that one.
Instead?
So I agreed, and we were already fairly dressed, and I just topped off with the various little pieces. And I just walked out. I wasn't able to say anything. Couldn't budge anything. The people had to come to me. And
How long did it take?
about 30 seconds. And about 20 yards straight out was a big white gazebo, daughter and dad taking a little break from the whole event. And I just thought, well, let's go see and talk to them maybe. And so I just walked right out, and the little girl turned around in her dad's lap, and he pointed at me. And she says, "Daddy, Daddy, look, it's Ben Franklin." And she said it just loud enough for Dan to actually hear it, because he was back at the tent, and he is standing at the doorway just waiting. Who's going to be the first one? And as soon as she said that, he won.
So,
And I was Ben Franklin ever since.
I was going to say, because you took on the role as a reenactor of Ben Franklin. What did you do in modern life?
Oh, my goodness. It depends on when it was. I traveled a lot at the various states, Michigan for one, Vermont, Colorado, working at ski areas. I just loved to ski.
Are you really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
And when I was out in Colorado, I was the manager of a rental and the repair shop. I just loved mechanics. And then they taught me how to be a ski instructor. Knowing how to ski is one thing, but knowing how
Teaching
to
is
teach, yes. And they taught.
So where are you from?
Originally from Michigan here. I was born down in Detroit. We made a couple of steps going north from Dearborn out to South Lyon, which is down near Ann Arbor. And then at that point, it was college and all kinds of travels from there.
We were talking before we went on the air about a dear friend of mine in the past who was Abe Lincoln, Fred Preby. And he was probably the best Lincoln I ever saw.
Absolutely.
He's passed now. We miss him dearly, but he used to come up to the River of Time pretty regularly.
Yes.
You've been at it now 18 years, is that right, Bob?
18.
Yeah. I'm going to take a break, and we'll come back talk a little bit more because he's got to get back to his Sutler's tent and meet and greet everybody. And we will do that, but we are here at Johnson's Pumpkin Farm, the River of Time, reenactors from various times in our history. Come on out. Lots of school kids here today. It's a busy, busy day at Johnson's, but it is, again, free to get in right here on North Portsmouth Road, about 3 miles north of M46.
The wild-eyed Southern boy.
Good morning. And I have to ask, Bob, when you really started to assume the character, which was, 18 years ago, how much research did you have to do to really get into the character?
A lot. And it was one of the things that I had read. There was a little booklet that a young lady actually gave to me, and she asked me about, who I was portraying. And I said, I'm not sure at this time. But she gave me this book, and the book's title was, So Who Were You? And it goes through different chapters, but it also brings up questions, for example, like what types of things do you enjoy doing? Or where would you like to live if you, could move to any state? And it really did bring up a lot of different questions as far as what would I like to do. I could do it and categorize it in any one of those areas. And I love to travel. I have been out east. I loved it out east. And so I started looking at questions like that and saying, yeah, I think I could. But when I found out that Franklin was actually a interesting man in the sense that he would play with anything. He would experiment with this and that. And there was a book that I also found out that there's a gentleman, pastor back in the 1600s, Cotton Mather, and he actually wrote a book of, the title of the book was Essay to Do Good, and it literally was page after page after page of ideas that somebody could follow the ideas in these different chapters on how to do good to other people. And I read that book when I was 16.
Oh.
And it left a patch right across my heart. And to sit back and to listen to other people and talk to them and to do good to other people, not knowing what to do good for that person, but you had to come in there. So that was one of the beginning stages of learning what Franklin was actually about. And so there was that. He always got very curious. He read a lot. In fact, my older sister said when she was maybe 16, she had always wrote in her journal, and this one day she wrote that I have never seen Ben when he could not read. And I read a lot. The local printer had a little bookshelf with some books on it that people could come in and borrow and take it home and read it, because there wasn't a whole lot of books back then.
Yeah.
But if you had one, you saved it and you held it.
How much time during a year, how many times do you go out as Franklin?
Oh, boy.
It's like a full-time gig, isn't it?
Lately, it has been. It has been. There is a gentleman that got a hold of me, and I don't know if I could say this, but he desired my attendance at an event next year on July 4th.
Ooh.
In Gerald Ford Museum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and next year is a very special year for this nation, those people that actually look at it. And they wanted Ben Franklin over in Grand Rapids. So
That'll be a special event.
Yes, very much so. So I've been been doing a lot of reading. But since I'm not exactly sure what my position would have been or is going to be, but then another phone call came along. Now we're looking at Chicago. And I'll be flying out Grand Rapids at the end of October. And I'll be spending the day there because Ben Franklin did something that not many people knew about, and that was starting a lending library.
Really?
Books. All kinds of books.
Books we knew, but yeah.
But he and his friends, they have a group. I was 25 at the time, and some of the men, the 12 men that gathered together in their 30s, 40s, and what they wanted to do, and I fell right in, was to gather together, talk about a book that they have just recently read in such a way that the other 11 men could actually repeat what the book had to say just by listening to the other gentlemen talk about the book and what it said. And so you have now just been exposed to a book that you have never read because of that person articulating the contents of the book. And so not only did he have to talk well, you also had to go listen.
Was Franklin, I know he was an inquisitive guy, liked to do things, try things, experiment. Was he a genius?
No. No, he was just very curious about things because he didn't know exactly what it was that he was getting his hand into. But as time went on, he did learn. And if it wasn't so much a learning aspect, he created electrical words, current. He knows about rivers. He used to swim all the time in a river that had a current. It would flow from one direction to the other. That's what this electrical thing seems to do. And so he used other things to actually come up with different vernacular.
I have to believe, I've always felt this way, our history as a country would have been vastly different if it weren't for Franklin.
Oh.
He was one of the key players of the day.
Absolutely. I totally would agree with that. Totally agree.
Well, Mr. Franklin, thank you for your time, first of all, and sitting down in this modern institution of radio, which is a product of your discoveries. And we wish you well in dealing with all these folks that are coming out to visit you. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you this morning, and thank you for taking the time. I don't want to hold you up all morning, or I would.
I do enjoy the talk.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and it's the way everybody learns, by talking to you. I think that's what these living history events are really all about.
Yes.
And are there as many of them today as there used to be?
Unfortunately, they do seem to be wandering away. I personally, if a school has a desire, I will go in their classroom for free.
Right.
You just got to somehow get me there if it's going to be an issue. But to me, it's so important to give them just a little taste of what it was for Ben Franklin
and who we are.
Yep. And just I do schools for free. That's all I can say. Now,
well, Bob, I appreciate your time this morning. Appreciate you sitting down with us. Thank you.
You're more than welcome, sir.
We're going to take a break, come back. We'll have open phones when we return for the remainder of the hour here on the Art Lewis Show. We'll tell you what's happening at the River of Time when we come back. All right, we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW, coming to you from Johnson's Pumpkin Farm, where River of Time is taking place, living history encampments, various periods of history. So come on out. I mean, we have youngsters everywhere. School buses have been pulling up all morning long. And remember, too, it's absolutely free. Going on today, from now until about 2 p.m., there's educational programs for the visiting schools. At 6 o'clock tonight, there's going to be a prisoner of war ceremony presented by the ROT Troop 1. And at 7 p.m., Johnson's Pumpkin Farm camps and Sutlers will close to the public. That's at 7 o'clock, so they can, finish up their day and have a little dinner and get ready for overnight bed, because tomorrow they start up again at 9 o'clock in the morning. Lots of various things going on tomorrow, including an opening ceremony at 10:30 tomorrow morning. And 10:30 through 4 p.m. at various times, the Tittabawassee Fife and Drum Corps will be here playing music. At 12 noon, the gentleman I just chatted with, Ben Franklin and Paul Revere, will hold a session together. 1 o'clock, there's going to be a Civil War skirmish tomorrow. At 1:30, Julie Newman, pine needle basket weaving demo. A fashion show at 2 o'clock tomorrow. At 2:45, flag retirement ceremony. At 3 o'clock, World War II plane flyover, courtesy of the Saginaw Valley Air Museum. At 4 o'clock, there'll be some weapons demonstrations. At 5 o'clock through 6:30, guided tours of the encampments. And again, they close to the public at 7 o'clock tomorrow. And of course, it's all here at Johnson's Pumpkin Farms, where you will find all kinds of living history encampments throughout history. Guys like Ben Franklin, but many others. There's everything from, pre-Revolutionary War right through later World War II settings. You're going to find it here at Johnson's Pumpkin Farm. And as I said, many, many, many school buses came in today. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids walking around. Johnson's, of course, is open with pumpkins, great food choices, all kinds of wonderful crafts in their big craft barn, all waiting for you for free, not to buy the crafts, but obviously free to attend here at Johnson's Pumpkin Farm. And by the way, it does continue right through Sunday, and you will have a great time meeting and chatting with these reenactors, living history. And that's why it is so perfect for school kids, because it's like having an extra class, only first-hand conversation. And these people, like Ben Franklin, who I just talked to, these people have spent a good portion of their lives studying the people they reenact and are experts on it. That's why it's living history, because you're talking, for all practical purposes, you might as be talking to the real Ben Franklin. He looks like him. He can tell you all about him, and you learn the history of some of the people that made this country what it is today. It's a fun thing here. The River of Time, Johnson's Pumpkin Farm, today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Bring the family out. Again, where else can you find a free event like this? Fantastic. And free parking, by the way. And they have lots of it, so you don't have to worry about that. They'll show you where to go, and enjoy yourself with your family here at Johnson's. Season goes on till about Thanksgiving, of course, every weekend. Well, they're here all week, actually. They're here, from now until Thanksgiving practically every day. And you can come out and you can have a little lunch. They have wonderful donuts they make. Big, big selection of handcrafted items. And, of course, living history. Every weekend, something else here at Johnson's Pumpkin Farm. We'll take a break, come back. If you got anything you'd like to chat about, you can give us a call, 989-752-6111. We'd be happy to talk to you. So join in. right, back with you at Johnson's Pumpkin Farm, where the River of Time living history reenactors are taking center stage, if you will. I want to remind you, too, what we talked about first hour with Sheriff Bill Federspiel and Dan Kuhn. There is a homecoming week concert at Swan Valley, at the Swan Valley Performing Arts Center. It's going to be Sheriff Federspiel and his band doing musical history backwards. They're going to start now and work back decades with all kinds of wonderful music. It's at least a 2-hour show. It starts at 6:45 on Wednesday, the 15th of October, and will feature the Swan Valley Marching Band in one point in the show. Tickets are $25, and you can find them online at buyeventtix.com. That's BUYEVENTTIX.com. The Mijos food truck and the coffee truck are going to be there. It's going to be a good time, and the proceeds go to benefit both the music department and the sports and band department, all at Swan Valley High School. Again, the concert begins at 6:45, and it will begin by introducing this year's Swan Valley Homecoming Court. So it should be a great show. If you've never heard Sheriff Federspiel and his music, it's got a 10-piece band with horns, guitars, drums, and he, of course, does a lot of tribute. He does Bob Seger, he does Kenny Rogers, he's done Huey Lewis, he's done Tom Jones, he's done quite a few, and Elvis. He's going to do those and more because they're actually doing, this is kind of a historical look at rock and roll, if you will, going backwards rather than forwards, taking you all the way back to the 60s and thereabouts. And it's going to be a great show. It's at least 2 hours, and it starts at 6:45, and it's only $25, and it supports the Swan Valley school system. So come on out. Again, you buyeventtix.com, let me do that again, BUYEVENTTIX.com, 2 T's. And you can purchase your tickets for just $25. The new auditorium seats 600. It's beautiful, beautiful space that they've built in Swan Valley, thanks to the voters of Swan Valley. And look forward to seeing you there. And, by the way, the school's located at 8400 O'Hearn Road. My thanks to Tom Wood for telling me that. 8400 O'Hearn Road is where the school is located. Meanwhile, here at the River of Time, today, tomorrow, and Saturday, you can walk around and literally walk through history. And you will meet people from history, like Ben Franklin, who I talked to earlier. He has a big settler's tent set up where you can go in and chat with him. And a lot of the reenactors have tents set up because they're literally living here this weekend. They're living as if they did back in the day they represent. And what a way to bring history to life. You know, we often complain, gee, did they teach history like they used to in the schools? And the answer is, yeah, they do teach history, and this is even a way to augment that education by talking to these characters who, you know, like Ben Franklin, have studied this character so much that they portray them. And when they're in character, you'll be talking to Ben Franklin. You'll be talking to history, learning about life back then, what he did, how what he did impacts us today. And it's for all ages. I mean, we have youngsters out here from the kindergarten age all the way up through high school and maybe even some college walking around too. It's a really special thing, this River of Time. It's been going on a long time. It used to be in Bay City, and it's since moved down here